Do we need to change our predictions for the 49ers record this season? What's up? Happy Saturday. Welcome to LaCohn and LaRocca. That's Tyler LaRocca. I'm Grant Cohn. Niners made a big trade getting Eagles edge rusher Bryce Huff. Some people are saying Eagles won this trade. I like this trade for the 49ers a lot. It's a big move. I mean, it might be the biggest move they've made this offseason because they didn't make many big ones in terms of bringing people on. Does this change the way you perceive this team? Does it change like your projected outlook for the 49ers? Do you think they're going to win more games because of Bryce Huff?
I mean, I had him at 13-4, and It was hard for me to even give him 4 losses. But man, I really like the signings. They have a lot of depth, which we haven't had in a while. I feel like we went from having no depth to now we seemingly have depth. I also think Huff is going to be a really good complement with Nick. I think it's just going to make Mikel's job easier. Now he has 2 vets to learn from, plus Saleh. I think, honestly, this defensive line is going to be gross this year. Like I said, I think the Niners are going to be the best team in the division by far.
The way I've been looking at the Niners, the reason I picked them to win 7 games is I feel like while the defense has a ton of potential and might be elite by the end of the season, with all these rookies, I mean, Alfred Collins isn't even out there yet. It's hard to expect 5 rookies to hit the ground running and be good. But so that's why I feel like it all comes down to Christian and Trent Williams and Brandon Ayuk and the offense being special like it was in 2023. And I don't think it's going to be special like it was in 2023. I think it's going to look like it did in 2024, in 2021, in 2019, kind of like that, like good, not great. And that's not good enough to get it done unless the defense kicks ass. And with Bryce Huff, now I feel like maybe they will have a defense that's really, really good and good enough to carry the team if there are some significant injuries on offense again.
Yeah, so I mean, I feel like again, you had a tweet earlier about like them building for Robert Saleh. Like, is that a sign for something to come? And I really do think it has a lot to do with like that F1 narrative, right? You build the car for your 2 driver because your 1 driver is so good, he should be able to make do with whatever the 2 driver's good with. And I think that's what the Niners are going for, right? Like if you look statistically last year at the offense, it was like 7th in efficiency or something like that. The biggest issue was miscommunications in the 4th quarter, like constantly, whether it's the Ronnie Bell game or Jordan Mason fumble or a Purdy turnover, like it's all these little things that kind of piled up. And I think that's kind of why Kyle wanted everyone in the building, even Trent's apparently in the building in camouflage, the entire offseason, was to kind of solidify those miscommunications and keep those from happening. I think with even someone like, again, if you throw in the depth we have at receiver now for Ronnie Bell, right? Demarcus Robinson, if he was the one getting thrown that ball instead of Ronnie Bell, I think they catch it. They win that game. Who knows how the season goes, And Jordan James has looked really good. Maybe if he's there instead of Jordan Mason, does he not fumble the ball? And so you have these little things like where, the Niners were 6-11, and the offense in 2024 by record didn't look great, but by efficiency, it was still 7th. So it was still pretty good with a ton of injuries. So in my opinion, like, I actually think that's why I think Niners are going to go 13-4 and be a lot better than people like think, because, and I really like the Huff trade because Robert Saleh knows how to get a lot out of him. He helps Nick get a lot out of Nick, and he'll help these rookies. Whereas, like you said, they probably won't come out of the gate elite superstars across the D line, but having someone like Huff and someone like Nick, and then behind you is Fred Warner, makes your job so much easier coming out of the gate.
Yeah, I just think it's interesting that the Niners have invested so much money into their offense, into their passing game in particular. Yeah. Like Ayuk, Debo before him, Purdy. And it's like they've made it to 2 Super Bowls with the first one, they made it to a Super Bowl with Jimmy Garoppolo and Emmanuel Sanders. and rookie Debo. Like,
Yeah.
you know what you're going to get from a Kyle Shanahan passing game. It's a good play action game. He's going to put up numbers. But what they need to like actually be a dominant team is either a great running game, which they had in 2023, or a great defense, which they had in 2022.
Yeah.
And I don't think they're going to have the great running game this year. I mean, we're going to talk about Christian in a minute.
Yeah.
It's going to be fine. You know, Kyle's offense is always efficient. Last year they were efficient, but they weren't dominant on the ground.
Yeah,
This
I don't think. Yeah,
could be a dominant defense under Robert Saleh.
I don't ever think Kyle. I would be very curious actually to see this. I don't think Kyle's ever had a bad run game.
It won't be bad.
Yeah,
it won't be bad.
And to your point, right? Like putting so much in the passing game. I even think that Jordan James over Cam Scatterbo was a testament to that, because Jordan James is much more of a receiving back than Scatterbo was. So, I mean, even to your point there, like, I think even the Jordan James draft pick was that. I think Jordan Watkins being as fast as he is and like kind of a burner, which Kyle's never, we had Danny Gray, but Kyle never really used him. I think trying to grab a burner like Jordan Watkins is even more of a testament to that. Like, we want to like Kyle's trying to bring his offense to the future, basically.
One thing I like about this move a lot, it's like they've been going with like only youth on defense this year with this overhaul, which I think is kind of strange. I mean, you can have young players and vets as well. So they finally bring on a vet. And it's like, okay, well, what about another one? Like, how you got all this cap space?
Yeah.
Your starting safeties right now are Richie Grant and Jason Pinnock. How about a safety? You could go get Justin Simmons or Julian Blackmon. How about another linebacker or another defensive tackle?
Justin Simmons has to be blacklisted from the NFL. This dude, I don't know how a safety, it's arguably top 5 every time he steps on the field, is like constantly.
He's going to end up with the Eagles. Watch.
I just don't understand how it's taking so long for him to get on a team. Like, I feel like if I was the Niners, especially with these injuries, like he's a no-brainer. Like, yeah, come play. Sure, we'll pay you whatever, $10 million to come play this year. We have the cap space. We'll give you a 1-year deal. Like, I don't understand what's going on in the safety thing, but I mean, listen, I have faith in Saleh. Faithful to the Saleh. So
for the first time this offseason, I feel like the Niners are actually serious about 2025.
I agree. I think Huff was I think Huff was a good pickup because he's also not old, right? He's kind of
27.
He's like the Mekhi Becton pickup that the Eagles did last year. Like, he's 27. He's had production, but it's like, let's see if we can make him good. So yeah, I like it. I think Huff was a great pickup. I think he was better than a lot of the edge rushers they could have gotten, and we got him for cheap too. Like, thank God we didn't get Joey Bosa.
And I don't understand exactly why he didn't work out. Yeah, thank God. I mean, better player than Joey Bosa for sure. I don't understand why he didn't work out with the Eagles. It seemed like Fangio just didn't like him. I mean, he would have had to teach him all new. I mean, he's coming from a 4-3 to a 3-4. He had to learn new techniques. They already had guys who knew the techniques and they liked. And I think they just were like, you know what?
If it ain't broke. Yeah, I think it was also like, because he came up pretty, like, Huff was solid in the playoff run, Super Bowl run for them. Like, he had some moments, but yeah, I think it just became like a too many mouths to feed kind of thing. Like, they had so many people that were producing. I think a lot of that credit goes to Jalen Carter, but
the one thing that scares me though is like they don't really know this guy. I mean, I guess Saleh knows him, but like they don't know what he was like in Philly. And did the money change him? You know what I mean? Did he have like a monster year to get the contract and then fall off? I mean, we've seen so many players do that. I hope the Niners didn't.
I'll tell you this, knowing Saleh, he's probably telling you, like, dude, you see how bad they disrespected you? They traded you to their biggest threat and are like, yeah, that's not even going to be a problem. Like, I feel like Saleh is going to be able to squeeze some juice out of that.
Because the last time the Niners made a trade like this, it was for Chase Young. And it was like everyone, when they made it, all Niner fans were like, oh my God, Washington is so stupid. What are you thinking? Fleeced. And by the end, it was like, oh, I see exactly why Washington traded him. We're so stupid.
I will say, I think Chase Young was overhated because of the one and like the one play, like I think he actually was solid for us. Like I think he was like he definitely I wouldn't have paid
Yeah,
him
he's a
what
solid pass
Moore was,
rusher.
but
He's a one trick pony, solid pass rusher. I
yeah,
do think Huff's better, but
I do
I'm
too.
not sure how much better he was than Young last year.
But I'll tell you what, just having a bunch of good people around Nick for once is going to be awesome. Like, I feel like always in our defensive line, like Nick has had to just be like 75% of it. Whereas now it's like Nick can be 50% and have the other guys split up the other 50%. And it makes his job a lot easier to either open things up for somebody else, like Huff, to have a big production season, or it at least just takes some attention away from Nick so that he can feast.
I'm just a little curious about like what this means for Mykel Williams. Cause like I thought there was going to be real potential for him to be an edge rusher in
Yeah.
the wide nine. And this kind of feels like he's going to be an edge setter in the base defense and an interior rusher on third down. And I'm not as excited about that. Like that
It
was the
seems
vision
like
for your pick. I don't like that as much.
I feel like they're using him like Armstead is what the vibe it's kind of given me is they're going to use him like an Armstead where he flips back and forth, or
Can
who
you think of
knows,
that kind of a tweener getting picked that high in a draft though? A guy
or
who's like not really a D end and not really a D tackle. I don't know.
or it's just he's 21 years old and they're like we need something. But it also seems like maybe they're going to swap, right? Is Michael is going to be like that first second down edge rusher where it's
Mhm.
like he's going to be there to get us to third and long, and then Huff is going to come in and clean up on third and long because that's just what he does. Which if that's the case, I actually don't see an issue with it. I think that's
That's
pretty
true.
good. I think even if you do swap Michael in on pass pro, like I don't really see it
Yeah.
that bad.
And like what Saleh used to do a lot when he was here on third down, and he would have like these 3-by-1 sets where he'd have 3 defensive linemen on one side of the center
Mm-hmm.
and then 1 DN way on the other side. So he could do stuff like that where Michael is like in the middle of that 3-man set, and then they do all kind of games and pressures like that. I would
Yeah,
imagine that's probably going to be the vision,
yeah.
because it's like
That's
if you could put Bosa isolated on one side and say if you want to double team him, well, you're going to have like one-on-one against all these guys over here, and we could bring pressure from that side too.
yeah. I think it's gonna be. I think it's good. It's to me, it comes off as Michael's gonna be the first and second down edge, and Huff's gonna come in on third and long, and like clean up a little bit.
Yeah, I completely agree.
So I like, but all in all, I like the Huff deal. I think the Niners. I genuinely think this is the best offseason they've had in years, like a long, long time. I think this is a really good one.
Well, I do like that they brought back Robert Saleh, and Robert Saleh seems to have like
Full
autonomy, or like,
control. Yeah.
I mean, he brought back he it seems like the special teams is like his overhaul too, not just defense, but special
Mhm.
teams as well. I mean,
Well,
I don't
it
think Kyle
also,
Shanahan wants us to think that, but how could we not think that?
I mean, in my opinion, it just seems like they're giving their coaches, their position coaches, autonomy of their spots. Like it seems like they're giving the special teams guy autonomy of special teams, Sala autonomy on defense, and then they're like, Kyle, you want Purdy? This is the
But it was
cross
like,
you're nailing
who's picking
yourself
the
to.
special teams guy? To me, it's like, hey, Kyle, you
Sure,
picked Schneider. Saleh, do you know anyone? And he's like, yeah, I know a guy. Cool, we're
yeah,
gonna get that guy.
and he's also good. Like he was also very good. Like he had a pretty good special teams unit, and our
Well,
special teams unit has it ever been good under Kyle? I don't think it has, right?
no,
Like good,
no,
not just
no,
solid. Yeah.
no,
So this guy,
hasn't been.
what it was a couple of years ago, he had like the second best special teams in the NFL. So like, I mean, that's a lot better than we've gotten in like a decade. So I'll
The
take
one
it.
thing I think people might say is like, yo, the Eagles probably were gonna cut this guy if the Niners had like
Mm.
held firm. Maybe another team would have wanted him, but like he was such a disaster for the Eagles. And the Niners believe in him because Saleh knows him. And so
Mhm.
they're going to pick up almost $8 million of his salary and send a mid-round pick. And we'll find out what that mid-round pick is most likely
Yeah,
tomorrow.
my
Is
guess
it
is it'll be like
possible
a
this blows up
4.
on the Niners? I mean, it is a significant investment. There's no injury issue though.
No, I mean, if it's a 4 or below, I'm fine with it. Like, if it's a 4, even if it does blow up, it's like who cares? How many fourth round draft picks hit? $8 million again. We have
Yeah,
so
big
much
difference
cap
between 4 and
space.
3. Big
Yeah,
difference.
yeah, and like
Serious.
it's do we have the cap space, right? So it's not like, oh man, we can't sign this guy because of freaking we couldn't sign Dre Greenlaw because we wanted Justin Huff. It's like no. So, in my opinion, I don't think it blows up. Even if he doesn't end up being productive, like who cares? Like at the end of the day, it's not that big a deal. Everyone wanted an edge rusher at the start of this offseason. I think he's better than Joey Bosa, who the Bills are paying more to not even play. And I like that they grabbed him before letting him hit open market because, like you said, someone else could have grabbed him or overpaid him, and then you don't have a depth piece for no reason.
When we went through the schedule and predicted games, and you predicted 13 wins and I predicted 7, I just didn't understand from your perspective, like, they haven't done anything this offseason to really make that push. And I know, like, they had injuries, but to me, it's like, man, Luke Farrell's your move. Now it's like, okay, like, this is a move.
It's
And
yeah,
like,
they've
and it was like, you have the space. There's no reason not to make a move unless you really don't care about 2025 and you're like pseudo tanking. But now I'm like, no. Like, they might make moves after June 1st. They might have a full plan that I haven't figured out yet. And now I almost feel like, I kind of maybe I need to reconsider how many games this team's going to win, because this is a serious. I think this adds maybe a win or 2 or 3.
We've added a lot of depth. Like, that's my big thing is a lot of people are seeing him as special teams pieces. I see him as depth, right? Like, if Nick needs to get off the field and take a breather, you got Michael Williams and Justin Huff that could be out there. I'm a lot more confident in that than Gross Matos and Leonard Floyd. We have depth pieces now. We have the linebacker we just signed from the Jets. So now D. Winters, Nick Martin, Fred Warner, and the backer from the Jets, who's also a special teams guy. Like, we have pieces now where it's like before when we were making the predictions, it's like if somebody on that defense gets hurt, we are cooked. Now, if someone gets hurt or needs to take a play off, it's not like bring in the USFL guys. Like, it's just the team's solid, in my opinion, defensively.
Yeah, to me, it's like if a month ago, it was like, yeah, if Alfred Collins and CJ West are both ballers right away, then yeah, sure, anything's possible. But now it's like, not, because on third down, on 3rd and long, they could conceivably roll out Bosa and Huff on the edges with Michael Williams and Gross Matos in the interior. And if you look at the salaries, Gross Matos, one of the 5 highest paid players on the team this year. He's not here. They're not going to pay him all that money to play 300 snaps and just be a backup. There's going to be a role for him. And I'm guessing it's going to be on that third down. So that's going to be interesting.
I really like it. And I also like that I think the Niners are also putting themselves in position. Like, say they don't make any more moves this offseason, I think they're putting themselves in position for the midseason stuff, right? Like, that's where the Niners and John Lynch really have thrived most of the time, is that midseason, those midseason grabs, right? Emmanuel
look
Sanders,
at your team, see what you need.
Emmanuel Sanders was a midseason grab that panned out great. Christian McCaffrey is a midseason grab that panned out great. So they're really good at
Chase Young.
Chase Young was a midseason grab. It didn't pan out great, but it wasn't bad in my opinion. Like, there wasn't another
it was worth
option.
it. It was worth a shot. And he did play pretty well in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, there wasn't another option instead of him, right? So it's like,
is this better than just like signing Von Miller? He's about 10 years younger than Von Miller.
Yeah, I don't like I haven't thought Von Miller was good for a while, to be honest. He's always hurt.
I think they're similar players at this point. Like, just one, like, they're not going to help you against the run, but they're speed guys. But yeah, you're right. He's hurt a lot.
Yeah,
I think like this guy knows. Like, Von Miller's more of a 3-4 outside linebacker, kind of like Leonard Floyd.
Yeah, like I like Huff. So if it blows up, it blows up. No harm, no foul. But again, then you're in position for midseason. Who knows what's going to happen? There's going to be, what if Buckner becomes available and the Colts start imploding and they're like, all right, we need to just get Buckner out. He only has a year or 2 left on his deal. Let's move on. And then the Niners are 7-1, 8-2, whatever. Let us grab them. Let's pick them up. We're doing great. Let's make a run here.
So, they really shouldn't have traded Buckner.
No, they shouldn't. That was the beginning of the end, was when they kept Armstead over Buckner. I hated that so much.
Shady Luke says, I think it's a win for both teams at the end of the day. I'm interested to see how Huff turns out, because every young defensive player for Vic at every level showed out this season but him.
Well, he's not a young defensive player that Vic could have molded into his system. He was a vet with an established system, in my opinion, that was used to playing in Salah's defense. And then going into Vic Fangio's defense, he wasn't comfortable. And
Still though, they gave him $51 million to be comfortable,
I
and
agree.
I wonder if like part of it was like, hey, you need to do a bunch of things differently, and he was like, no, I do what I do. I have no idea.
I'll
He
say
can do what
this.
he does here.
Players have shown in the Vic Fangio defense, you either fit or you don't. And it's
Yep.
like drastic, right? Like Vic Fangio had a loaded defense in Miami and couldn't do jack with it. Like I couldn't believe how little heat he got for how bad he did it with that Miami defense. And then he goes to the Eagles and everyone's like, I can't believe no one signed Vic Fangio. This guy's a genius. It's like, well, in Miami, he had Jalen Ramsey, Bradley Chubb, Kevin Holland, like, all these dudes and couldn't do anything with it. So I wouldn't put that on Huff too much because, again, I think Vic Fangio's defense, you either fit or you don't, you know?
Yeah, and I think like with as someone, I mean, I covered Vic Fangio for 4 seasons. He doesn't really like specialists
Yeah.
as edge rushers. He wants guys who can play outside linebacker and set a firm edge in his system. So like
Mm-hmm.
that's guys like Ahmad Brooks, 260 big guys
Mm-hmm.
who can play stand up outside linebacker. And that's just so not Huff. I don't understand how he didn't talk to Fangio. Maybe I mean I don't follow that team. Maybe they traded for Huff before they hired Fangio because
Yeah, I'm
I
not
don't
sure.
understand. I feel
Or
like
maybe they just thought he's good enough to move around. Like that maybe. Like,
you might be too young for this, but do you remember Legion of Boom? Like when they
yes.
won the Super Bowl? Okay.
Yeah.
Their D line, they had Michael Bennett.
Mm-hmm.
He was their starting D end. And then on third down, he would move to D tackle
Mm-hmm.
and they would bring in Cliff Averill off the
Yep.
sideline.
Yep.
Cliff Averill's a great player, but he didn't start for them. To me, that's kind of what Bryce Huff can be. And
Yeah.
that's where Saleh came from, that kind of a formation.
Yeah, I like it. I think it's just two schools of thought, right? Like you said, Vic Fangio is I want jack of all trades everywhere. Salah's
Yeah, I don't
completely
want
opposite.
specialists. I want
Yeah,
3-4 outside linebackers who are good against the run and
and
pass.
Salah's the complete opposite. He's like, okay, you're a master at this. Perfect. I can use
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Oh, you're great at this. Perfect. I can use you. So now, all right, Michael isn't good at pass rushing on third and long. Great. I got Huff to do that. Michael get inside in case they try anything cheeky and just clog a hole. Like they're just two completely different schools of thought. Both are very good. I don't think one's better than the other, even though I'm a bigger fan of Saleh, but yeah, I like it. So
Shady Luke says, I'm just saying I watched a lot of snaps. He got drove into the ground off the snap a lot. That's terrible. My question with him is, did he lose like the passion to play football after getting paid? Or was he being asked to play on first and second down and having to
yeah,
withhold anchor against run blockers? Like he's not gonna he needs to pin his ears back and
yeah.
rush the quarterback.
And again, I hate dunking on Fangio, but again, this is a very if people look at the Dolphins on Fangio, man, none of those players were happy. Their performances dipped, and when he left, their performances, at least as a defense, got better. Fangio is not like an easy guy to work with. So I think it's a mix. He got paid, he wasn't comfortable, and then Fangio's probably riding him the whole time. And so he's like, all right, dude, I don't need this.
The only outside linebacker I ever saw Fangio bring off the bench in a situational role on the Niners was Alden Smith as a rookie. Only one.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Again, I didn't watch Bryce Huff last year with the Eagles. Maybe he was used on third down only and he stunk at that. But it seems like they tried to they gave him $51 million. They probably thought he was going to be a 3-down player. That's my guess. Yeah. And he's not. He's not. And I think on the Niners, he doesn't have to be, although I don't want to oversimplify. Maybe there are things I don't, about his motivation and professionalism that I don't know and we'll figure out soon. But
yeah. And like he just said, maybe it's as true, maybe it's not that it was the system. Again, that's all we can really go
effort
off,
is
right?
effort. And if he's not giving it, he's not giving it. I mean, if he's not giving the effort, he's Chase Young.
Yeah. So, and who knows? Again, maybe maybe that's why he was so good under Saleh. Saleh brings a lot of juice out of players, guys. Like people like really forget, like, where'd all the energy go? The energy left with the Niners was Saleh pretty much. And D'Amico saw that. He started bringing the juice. And then look at the defense. They did a complete turnaround in the second half when D'Amico started bringing juice. And then Steve Wilkes, they couldn't really get it. Sorensen couldn't really get it. Salah's back, and now everyone's pumped again.
That's a good
So,
point.
it's Salah's good at that stuff. And Fangio, like we've said, he's a very much, poop or get off the pot kind of guy. Like,
Last thing I want to say about this Huff to me is like it underscores to me that this is Salah's team.
yeah,
Even though I don't think I know that upsets Shanahan because it's technically his team. But the driving force of this team when it's good is the defense. And ever since Salah got hired, all the moves seem to be with him in mind and with his blessing. I mean,
in my opinion, we have always been a defensive team.
yeah,
Like, I feel like even back in the Montana Rice TO days, even before that, or sorry, young Rice TO, even before that with Montana Rice, we were always this like Ronnie Lott kind of defensive team. Like, we feed off of defense. Even in the Harbaugh era, like
mhm.
our pistol offense was incredible. But when Bowman and Willis would come in and get you something, you were like, dude, this team cannot be messed with at all. And so they've always been that way. Like, and so I think they're just returning to what works. It's just we were shelling out so much money on offense for nothing.
Yeah, now you just bring in some, one guy here, one guy there, and a bunch of rookies and hope that Robert Saleh can make it work because he's
I
made it
believe.
work in the past. Okay. Let's talk about something else. Christian McCaffrey. See, it used to be you could go to practice and have an observation and say it, and people would take it with a grain of salt and be like, all right, well, everyone sees things differently and it's just practice.
Oh
But
man.
like, not anymore, man. I was watching and I was like, you know what? He looks like he's lost a step. I'm going to say it. And people just,
It exploded.
how could you say that when 3 other people said he looked great? So Matt Barrow said he looked like 2023 Christian McCaffrey. Cam Edmonds said
I
he looked
saw that.
phenomenal. And maybe they're right and I'm wrong. I don't know. I guess we'll find out. Like, what seemed like, taking aside who you trust and whose perception was what, I mean, none of us were timing him. What seems more logically believable to you? That he can bounce back to 2023 or that he'll never be able to reach that again?
Yeah, like my thing is right. He turns 29 this year. Like, he's a running back that turns 29 that has had, I would say, if you date back to probably even high school, this dude has probably had so much times where he has carried the football,
Yep.
kickoffs, receiver, running back. People forget this dude was an all-purpose offensive athlete in high school. At Stanford,
Yeah.
he touched the ball more than anyone else. In Carolina, he touched the ball more than anyone else. And then Kyle just was driving this dude into the ground when he got here. So it's like, if you think he hasn't probably lost a step after a double Achilles tendonitis, where he basically couldn't play, and it was his first practice back, like, you're just like trolling. Like, I don't know what to say. Like, he has to. Like, I would be surprised if he looked better. Like,
Also, I think fans might have a little bit of like romanticism when it comes to like what they think an athlete can recover from, or like, yes, these are the best athletes in the world and they come back and play football at a high level still, but every injury you sustain as a professional athlete like deteriorates your body. You don't come back faster. You don't come back quicker from bilateral Achilles tendonitis at 29. You don't. It's not like, oh, well, Christian did something wrong or he didn't understand. No, nah, man, this is what happens. This is father time. This is life.
It's what happens when you have carried the ball like 20,000 times in the last decade. Like, people just got to realize it. Like, he was a punt, kick returner, receiver, running back for high school, college, and his entire tenure at Carolina. The only time he got a break from that was when he started getting hurt. And it's not like, okay, he's back to normal. He was getting hurt, but he's fine now. Like, he had a great 2023. And do I think he could maybe have like a 1-year resurgence like Chris Paul on the Suns or like Derrick Henry last year? It's possible, sure. You see it in a lot of like players that are about to hit the end where they'll have like that 1-year spark plug. That could have been 2023. Or maybe that's this coming year. But in my opinion, if I were to bet on it, if I were to put it on a prize pick, I would take the he is not going to be uh better than 2023 ever again. Like
I mean,
I
the
would
way
be
I saw
shocked.
Christian McCaffrey, when they traded for him, I didn't fully understand how good he was. I saw him
Yeah.
in person in Carolina when the Niners played him, and he was on a bad team, and they kind of he played well against them, but he didn't
Yeah.
like scare them.
Mhm.
And then they traded for him. I was like pretty apparent from like the first or second game that he was playing at a Hall of Fame level. I mean, he's not going to make
Yeah.
it to the Hall of Fame because he doesn't have the longevity, or he doesn't yet. But for 2 years, he played at a legit Hall of Fame level. He was the best player on a team that was full of Hall of Famers.
Yeah.
And I mean, this year, let's say he could stay
Yeah.
healthy for 15 games. I don't necessarily expect him to, but he could. I just don't think he's going to be like the best guy on the team playing at a Hall of Fame level.
I'll say
I just
this,
don't.
and I am like all over my Twitter is Purdy's only good because of CMC. I think this year it would be the opposite, the complete opposite. I think if CMC has a crazy offense player of the year type year, it's going to be because Purdy, Kittle, and crew are just going crazy around him. And it leaves him a lot less shoulder, like a lot less to shoulder.
Well, I think one thing that he could provide the offense is even if he's not what he used to be, if he's lost a step, which I believe he
Mhm.
has, I mean, defenses are still going to respect him
Yeah.
and they're still going to look at him as maybe the main threat in the offense. So if he can get defenses to load the box and open up the play action pass, then he's done his job. If he could be
Yeah.
like an expensive decoy who's still good but not great, then okay, at least you're getting something and he's
And
making
that,
an impact, a positive one.
yeah. And that's what I'm saying. Like it's gonna be on like Purdy. Like we're allowed to finally. The Purdy fans can stop trying to hide behind he's Mr. Irrelevant on a rookie deal. Purdy is now under scrutiny from here. I mean, his contract is structured for scrutiny. Every year is a check-in. We can cut you. How are you doing? So it is going to be on Purdy. If CMC is going to have a resurgence, it is going to be on Brock Purdy. He
Yep.
has to take advantage of what, like you said, of what Christian will provide as a threat. Like, you can't not load the box on Christian McCaffrey. So, Purdy, what are you going to do about it? Because you don't have Debo now to bail you out.
So I just want to tell people again what I saw at practice, and it's just one practice, and I'm not a scout. But I've seen him practice before, and I ran track. That's ridiculous to say. So forget that. But I've seen him run before. I've seen him practice before. And Christian is not the kind of guy who practices at 75%.
Mm-hmm.
When he was out there in 2023, that was his first off season. There were articles about it. You know, the hardest practicing guy on the field, playing at a different gear, setting the tempo. And when Christian was at 27, he would hit a gear routinely that felt effortless and explosive. And with a sprinter, there's a leg drive that a snap that few people have, and when you see it, it's breathtaking. Like Isaac Guerrero has it, Raheem Mostert has it, had it, and McCaffrey had it. He had it last year. He didn't. And in camp the other day, I saw a guy who was practicing just as hard as he always has and straining to get that, to find that leg drive that he used to get so effortlessly, trying to like raise his knees to sort of like force the drive. And it's just not there anymore. I'm sure he's still one of the fastest players on the team, but not like 2 years ago. And
Yeah.
I'm open to being wrong about this,
And who
but that's what I
knows?
saw.
Yeah. And maybe it's his first
Yeah.
little bit back and he doesn't trust his Achilles and he's worried and yada, yada, yada. Maybe it's the mental aspect. Who knows? But I think if anyone's expecting him to be 2023 McCaffrey, like at least, sorry, first half of the season before the Achilles injury kicked in, I think you're kind of, because even 2023 McCaffrey ran out of gas. Like
You don't have to average 5.4 yards per carry to be effective. You don't have to run a 4.4 to
no,
be effective. Like
not
Frank
in Kyle's
Gore was
offense.
averaging 4.5 yards a carry in his mid 30s just based on feel and vibes. I mean, and power. I even if he's lost a step, there's a world where he averages 4.5 yards per carry, goes for 1,000 yards, scores 10 touchdowns, and catches 50 passes.
And again, I'm telling you right now, the Jordan James pickup is showing that even Kyle isn't thinking Christian's back.
See, I don't know about Jordan James.
I think Jordan James is going to be there because I don't think they trust Garendo running routes. So I think Jordan James is going to be there when they have to throw the football. And as you could say in Kyle didn't say, oh, yeah, he's back to 2023 form. No, he's as healthy as he can be. So as healthy as he can be is a strange way to word that, in my opinion. But
it's an accurate way to word it. I mean, I think fans need to adjust their expectations. Like, these guys aren't superheroes. He's a 29-year-old running back coming off of bilateral Achilles tendonitis. You don't just bounce back to the guy you were before that. It takes a toll.
Yeah. So is CMC back? I'm sorry to say, everybody. I doubt it. I hope I'm proven wrong, though. I love Christian McCaffrey. When he got traded to the Niners, he was instantly my favorite Niner. He was one of my favorite players in the league on Carolina. So I hope that I'm wrong.
Shady Luke says it's all on Kyle with his health. I remember this last year with Saquon. He'd be out drives and Eagles fans would go nuts. It's like, dude needs rest. Yes, and the thing with Saquon was he was always injured with the Giants. The Eagles bring him over here and they put him in like a two-back offense with Jalen Hurts, and it's not all on him. And they give him Kenneth Gainwell.
You also have to remember, Saquon took a lot of that weight upon himself too. So Saquon, there was like 2 games where he's mic'd up and Sirianni's like, yo, do you want to get the record? Like, you're right there. And he goes, no, I'm good. No, he didn't want to risk it. He never risked his health. And that's what Christian McCaffrey's going to have to do. If we're beating a team up 31-7, you're going to have to be like, all right, I'm good. Pull me. Let Garendo, let Jordan James go in.
Shady Luke makes a really good point. With Trent Williams, if he gets hurt, that's not Kyle's fault. He's 37 years old. I mean, he gets hurt, and you're just hoping for him to play as much as possible. If McCaffrey gets hurt, if Purdy gets hurt, potentially that could be Kyle's fault. Like, if they're using McCaffrey as much as they used him in 2023,
then
and he goes down, that's on Kyle.
Yeah.
Or if Purdy gets injured in the pocket because the offensive line isn't that good, that's on Kyle as well. So,
yeah, I agree. I think it is. I mean, Kyle has to learn, dude. Last year should have showed him, like, just run more than one running back, man. You need to. Why not? Christian McCaffrey obviously lost a step last year, and he was like, oh, Jordan Mason was the 3rd highest rusher in the league. Nah. Like, hopefully he learned and is just like, actually, okay, real quick. We didn't even talk about this. Bryce Hall is available for trade. Go get him. Go get him for a year. Please go get him. That's who I want them to use the cap space on. Use the cap space on Bryce Hall. Let him be your cowbell and let Christian McCaffrey complement him. That's what I want to see, actually. Bring me Bryce Hall.
I actually kind of like this. Let's list all the reasons the Niners should get Bryce Hall. 1, he's good. 2,
yes,
he played college football with Brock Purdy.
Yep.
At Iowa State. 3, he was coached by Robert Saleh. He was a Jet. And the Niners, they're pretty much only interested in you if you were a Jet or a Jacksonville Jaguar. And he was a Jet. Bryce Hall.
I'm telling you, man.
I love that they overhauled their defense. I love that they got Jordan Watkins. But to me, Jordan James was not their number 1 pick. Their number 1 target at running back was Cam Scatterboo. Obviously, the whole world freaking knew it.
They passed on him, though.
They did it at 100. I have a feeling the organization was like, Kyle, you're not allowed to take a running back in round 3 anymore. Sorry. So they wanted to take him in round 4, probably at 113, where they took CJ West, and he got swooped up by 105 by the Giants, and that was that. So they had to bring in Jordan James and Corey Kiner, kind of hedge their bets. And they don't know who's better. We'll see about that. But yeah, if they can bring in Bryce Hall, I mean, that guy's a real athlete.
They're looking at trades. He's an unrestricted free agent. He's only $3.4 million. So it does the same goal of Bryce Huff. It's the same goal. Let's come in. Let's see how good you are. And even if he sucks, you're out $3.5 million. I'd give a 5th, 6th round pick for Bryce Hall. Why not?
He's a really good receiver too. So you could run the same plays that you run with McCaffrey. If McCaffrey's in, Bryce Hall's in, the offense doesn't have to change. I don't know that Jordan James can necessarily run all the stuff that McCaffrey runs as a receiver.
Give me Bryce Hall. Let him be my cowbell, and let Christian McCaffrey be my beautiful little ornament that I am throwing in, and we're splitting carries, And Christian, it's not that Brees is better than you. It's that he's able to take the hits for you, and then behind his back, like, dude, Brees is so much better than him. Like,
So the deal with
dude,
him is he's a free agent. He's gonna get he's on the Jets. He's gonna get traded. Yeah.
so yeah, they've apparently been exploring trades because he's not happy with Aaron Glenn's no one's a star. We're all fighting for our position cringe vibe. And he's not very happy because he feels he's earned to be running back one, which I completely agree with him. And he wants out quietly. Apparently, that is the rumor. And they're exploring trades and they're willing to trade him because they think they have good enough running backs, which I agree. I think Braylon Allen is a freak of nature. So if I were them, depending on the package, why not?
Again, you got the Robert Saleh connection. He played for the New York Jets, which makes him a shoo-in. The Niners are essentially Jets West at this point.
I'm telling you, man.
College football with Brock. Why not?
I would do that trade. If they did this trade, I would just bow down to John Lynch. I mean, you are just hitting everything you could possibly hit right now.
And I just think it would be so smart. I mean, we are every Niner fan wants the Niners to use Christian McCaffrey in like a rotation this year. I don't know that Jordan James or Isaac Guerrero is necessarily good enough to warrant taking 10 carries away from McCaffrey, but Breece Hall is. Like this, if this is McCaffrey's last year on the team, say, look, man, we paid you last year. We gave you a very generous wedding present. This is probably the last rodeo for you. Mm-hmm. And to make sure that you make it all the way through, unlike last year where you got hurt after 4 games, you're now splitting carries with Breece Hall. Get to know him. Go play golf with him. He's your best friend. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, dude, I'm telling you.
He's extending your career. Thank him.
I would love Breece Hall on this team. I think he'd be, be so fun. It'd be so fun to see Breece Hall on this. Please.
Get it done. Harry Johnson says, this is Harry La Johnson. Great show. Yeah, you got to throw the La to be on this show. Shady Luke says, Kyle has to save McCaffrey from himself, in my opinion.
Yes.
It's a great point, too. Like, when they talk about, when you ask Kyle or Clay Kubiak, hey, man, are you going to try to maybe save Christian a little bit? Like, they give you this look like, easier said than done, man. Like, he won't come off the field. Like, what do you want us to do? It almost feels like someone has to run on the field and grab him, and no, it's like against the rules.
I want you guys to be coaches and tell him to sit on the bench or they can, try and get Nick Chubb. But he's also old. He doesn't really solve the issue.
He's the opposite of Carlos Hyde. The Niners, like Carlos Hyde used to run. He would like break off a 40-yard run 10 years ago with the Niners and immediately stand up and tap his helmet like, I'm to take me out. Like, no, finish the drive. What? That was so exhausting. That's one thing McCaffrey won't do. I
liked Hyde. He was good in spurts, and then he'd get hurt every 5 seconds. And
there was that one game where the Niners were like hadn't won a game, or they'd lost 12 in a row with Chip Kelly, and they were playing the Jets, and the Jets quarterback was Bryce Petty, and they really sucked, and the Niners were winning because Carlos Hyde ran for like 200 yards. But he kept taking himself out of the game. He was like, this is so exhausting. Running so well. It's so tiring. And the Niners lost. I remember that game. That was incredible.
I like Carlos Hyde, though. I liked him. Bring him back.
I mean, who doesn't?
Let's bring Frank Gore back, honestly.
He works for the team. Lamont757 says, hey, Kyle, would you rather Hall go to Rams or Watt?
Oh, I don't think the Rams would. I don't think the Rams would sign him because Kyron Williams.
Kyron Williams is good. Plus, they have Blake Corum.
Yeah. So I don't think they're a threat. I mean, the Cardinals could be a threat to grab him, but Cardinals suck. So.
All right, one more thing, and then we'll get into the prize picks. Everyone's clamoring, where are the prize picks? Wait, next. First, Trent Williams not at OTAs. Can't say I'm surprised.
Kyle said he's been at the facility, though. Have you seen him?
Kyle said he wanted every player at the first meeting of phase 1 of the offseason, and they say that Trent Williams was there for that meeting. I believe it. I'm inclined to take him at their word for this one. But it seems like he dipped right after the meeting. And to me, Kyle's explained it, Kittle's explained it, a lot of new guys who haven't been here for the winning. And you have to show these guys what it takes. Trent apparently is not interested in showing anyone anything.
Yeah, at first I thought you were like way off base with the he's gonna retire. He's just giving them time. But now I'm like genuinely starting to
Or
think,
he wants to go to another team.
I mean, where?
Because he wants the money on his contract, and if he's healthy, I, I just think he's a mercenary. He's not interested in helping a team set a culture. He came to the
Yeah.
Niners right after they lost the Super Bowl. He wants to win a Super Bowl. And if the Niners, if he doesn't think that Bryce Huff puts him over the top, maybe he's thinking like, man, I just want to go play with CJ Stroud.
CJ Stroud isn't winning a Super Bowl.
True. Yeah,
like, I don't
he
know,
put up
man.
the same numbers as Brock last year, like the exact same numbers.
Yeah, and we are chastising
without the scrambling
Brock for it.
Yeah.
We are like chastising Brock. CJ's really bad against the blitz. I actually think I think people overhyped him. Like, I think
he can't move like Brock, and he takes a bunch of sacks.
Yeah, he's very like, I don't know. CJ's not my vibe.
He was so bad. Remember when he lost to Goff last year when Goff threw 5 picks in one game? How do you lose to a quarterback who does that?
CJ I mean, and you can look at like it was his playoff game against the Ravens that like the first belt to behind. And I was like, dude, this guy just doesn't know what to do when he's getting blitzed. Like every play he gets blitzed, if you watch, he just doesn't know. He looks like a deer in headlights. He's like, I don't know where to go with the ball. And so then last year, I was like, okay, I'm going to keep an eye on it. And same thing. Whenever he gets blitzed, it's just like, I don't know what to do. And his offensive line's bad, so he didn't even need to get blitzed. And he's like, I don't know what to do with the ball.
Yeah, and then the Ravens.
Yeah, and then the Ravens.
They trade Laramie Tunsil, makes me wonder if they need Trent Williams or want him. Let me ask you a question about Trent. Do you think he's going to be at practice on Wednesday?
No.
No, I don't either. Do you think he'll be at mini camp? It's mandatory. They can find him if he's not there.
No.
See,
he never goes.
He needs to go to mini camp.
He never goes. Has he ever been to one of our mini camps?
He didn't go to mini camp last year because he was, holding out for a new deal.
I thought that was the same reason he didn't go the year before too, though. Because hasn't he made like a few excuses? Like
I feel like he shows up for mini camp though and doesn't practice, but he's there, to not get fined. If he's not there for mini camp, I wonder I also wonder, it's May 31st. If something's going to happen with Trent, it's going to happen like Monday. So we'll see. But if they don't trade him and they're really banking on him to be here and like help them create a new culture, like, dude, now is the freaking time. If you're really not angling for a trade or thinking about retiring, dude, what do you do? What do you have to do that's better? Like, I don't understand. Golfing isn't that much fun. You could golf out here.
I beg to differ.
We could golf together. You know what I mean?
There you go, Trent. If you come to practice, Grant will golf with you.
We'll golf afterward, dude. I have such great conversation. We could talk about anything, man.
Money, I don't know if he's not. I mean, if he's not at minicamp, I think they trade him, or he's retiring. If he's not at minicamp, I'm fully on board your Trent's retiring train.
He's just a lot older than Debo, and when Debo wanted out, everyone knew it, right? Social media. He went very Gen Z about it. No offense. Trent's a millennial like me, and he's got a lot of clout, and he doesn't have to complain on social media. He's kind of like he's a triple OG. He can make moves in silence behind the scenes. And I wonder if he were to want a trade, would we ever find out before that thing happened?
Yeah, I think we would, because the Niners are petty. They like to leak it like, oh, Trent Williams wants out, even when the Niners are willing to make him the highest paid left tackle in the NFL. Bad attitude. Like the Niners would leak something. But
maybe they're still in like, hey, like maybe we can talk him out of it. Like maybe we can talk him out. Like maybe they go through this dance with Trent every offseason. Hey Trent, you want to play football?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I think genuinely it's are you going to retire or are you playing? And then he's like, my ankle, and they're like, all right, but do you want to play? Or
he posted that little video of him doing the squat, the little lunge on his ankle. Like, I'm good. It's like, oh, well, I guess he's good to go. But I feel like here's the thing with Trent. I mean, not to get he's a better option than Spencer Burford at left tackle, but he's not going to do training camp. He's not. I mean, he's going to be gassed in the fourth quarter because he doesn't practice and he's old. And that's when the Niners offense breaks down in close games anyway. Yeah. So, and then when he's hurt, you're so screwed because you got a backup left tackle starting. I don't know, man.
Yeah, who is Trent cool with on the team? Like, did he ever hang out with anyone on the roster? Because even Debo, like him would dance together with the boombox, but I never saw like them hanging out.
It felt like Debo was like his little bro, but it doesn't seem like there's any. I mean, he's so much older than everyone.
Yeah, I'm just surprised like he doesn't hang out with anyone on the team. Like even when him and Debo were friends, I never saw them like hanging out. Like maybe that's what he needs.
Also,
Maybe he
I
just needs
wonder,
a
like, when
friend.
you get to be that rich and like almost 40, and you've been like 320 pounds like your whole life. Like he's just like 6 months away from like after retiring from losing like 80 pounds and looking like real, like the best
Yeah,
he's looked in his life.
but
At a
here's the
certain point, it's like, man, I don't want to eat this ice cream every night, man. It's nasty. I've been doing this forever. I just
But I
want to
think
look
he likes
trim.
it. I think he likes fighting. Like I think he likes violence. He's always in a fight or like shoving someone around. I think he likes that aspect. I think that's the
Maybe.
only part he likes about football. I don't even think it's genuinely like, oh, like I'm sure he wants to win a Super Bowl, but I think it's mainly like, dude, I like going out there and pushing these
How do
dudes
you
around.
how do you walk away from something that you're the best at?
Yeah,
Like he
exactly.
doesn't even have to try, or at least in the past. I don't have to practice. I don't have to try. I'm the best. I have my own set of rules. Coaches beg me to be here. Why
Yeah.
would I turn that down? But
Yeah.
at this point, like getting a little bit older, the team isn't necessarily right in contention. Are you really worth that kind of treatment anymore, or is it like, you know what, maybe another team?
With our offensive line, he is worth that kind of
That's
treatment.
the thing. That is the thing. So Trent, is Ricky already banged up?
Yeah, dude, I'm out on
Uh,
Ricky. I'm over it. I'm
let's talk
already
about
over it.
Ricky before we go to the prize pick side. We got things to talk about today.
I am
Ricky,
over it.
Ricky, Ricky. Can't you see, man?
I'm over
Ricky,
the
Ricky,
Ricky
Ricky.
Pearsall thing. I'm over it.
Why?
This dude's injured. The only thing he couldn't help was getting shot, and he's still been injured 3 times outside of being shot. Like, dude, he had the shoulder that he missed rookie minicamp for, then his hamstring that he missed training camp for. Then he got shot, which I can't blame him for. And now he's back missing camp because of a
Yeah,
hamstring
the
injury.
gunshot really overshadowed the other injuries. That like
Yes,
that
like
happened.
he's
It's like, hey, that's bad luck. But you remember, now he had two injuries in the offseason, and now he's had an injury this offseason. Couldn't even get to OTAs. And I
or is
don't
he
think he's
just
the kind of
lazy too?
guy.
Is he
I
just
don't think
lazy
he's the
too?
kind of guy who's like a malingerer. Like he's not. We know he's working. He's probably one of these guys who means well. Probably feels the pressure of being. He wasn't supposed to be a first round pick. Feels the pressure. Uh, Overtrains and has soft tissue injuries. That's what sucks about it too, because he's like another one of these guys where he could go to another team and then all of a sudden the pressure's off because they didn't take him in round one and he'd be all right. But a guy who keeps pulling his hamstring, that's
And here's
scary,
my thing.
man. You're a wide receiver.
I hate when you have guys like George Kittle and Christian McCaffrey on your team, and you're a player who has struggled with injuries already, year one. You struggled. The first person you should go to is, hey, George, hey, Christian, what's your guys' recovery process like? Because you guys are still doing it at an elite level in your 30s, or in Christian McCaffrey's case, in your late 20s, and you've touched the ball more than I've ever touched in my life in 2 seasons. So, what should I do? Like, how do you not recover like them? Like, it's like when people play with LeBron and they're like, oh, yeah, like they're out of shape. Like, how? How are you out of shape when you play with people that put so much into recovery? You have a cheat code right there. Just ask them. Hey, George, what do you do? This is what I do exactly. Okay, cool.
It's it seems to me that it's really impossible to improve as a young professional in the NFL if you keep getting hurt.
Yes.
Because the way you make your strides as a first, second, third year player is just staying healthy. So you can go through every practice, get all the coaching, get all the experience. And if you have some talent, you're going to come out, the best version of yourself. But Javon Kinlaw couldn't do that because he was
Yeah.
constantly getting hurt. So he couldn't get the Chris Sarek effect. And when he finally left the Niners and could stay healthy for a little bit, you started to see some growth. And with Ricky, like, he's got talent. I mean, he ran a 4.4. He tested off the charts in every single way. He showed some flashes last year. But if he's always fighting to get back to
Hmm.
baseline, he's almost 25. It sucks. It could be sad, but there's a lot of pressure and a lot of stuff at stake for him right now. Even as a second year player, it's like your prime could never happen if
Yeah.
you can't stay healthy.
And I didn't like the pick. I was very vocal about the pick. I hated the pick. Cooper DeJean was my pick, and it was a no-brainer for me last year. Like, he was by far the player they needed. He plays corner and safety. Like, how did the Niners
And
not
returns
grab him?
punts.
Like, and then they got Ricky, and if you watch Ricky film, he's very, very good. And I was like, okay, this makes sense. He's gonna take over for Debo. The dude plays less than Debo and gets hit less than Debo.
That's
And
such a
Debo's
good
never
point.
even in shape.
That's
Debo
such a
comes
good
in
point.
overweight. Like,
I hadn't thought of that, man. So the Niners run off Debo, trade him because he's not consistent enough, available enough, and you replace him with someone who's available less, potentially.
and it's
Like
crazy. Like, and that's
Ricky
why
needs to put up bigger numbers than Debo this year. Needs to. A lot of pressure on Ricky.
And this is why I'm out on him. Is like, again, he missed all of camp last offseason. I don't even know. Hamstrings are tricky injuries. Every athlete says, what's the worst injury you have? Hamstring. It is the worst one. You ask every receiver, every corner. Richard Sherman's talked about it publicly. Keenan Allen's talked about it publicly. They always say hamstring because it's never back to 100% until after the season. So it's like, well,
so
now
you missed 2 off seasons in a row. Where's the development going to come for it? You're
even
not going to
Kyle
have your first
it.
training camp until you're 26. Like,
dude, even Kyle said it last year when he was playing. Like, oh, how do you think Ricky did? He's like, I mean, for not having an offseason, he did great. Like, he needs an offseason though. And then what happens? He's already missing offseason. And if come Wednesday he can't practice, why?
Oh, he's not practicing Wednesday, and he's not going to practice in minicamp either. So the door is wide open for Demarcus Robinson and Jacob Cowing and Jordan Watkins.
So he's not coming back until minicamp.
Training camp. And they shut him down. It's not good.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm not. I think
like,
Jordan
Watkins, to be like non-doom and gloom, if he can stay healthy for all of training camp, it's okay. I mean, it's just May, but it's not. It doesn't make me confident that he can do that. Like the fact that this is injury number 3 makes me feel like, man, maybe you should have hedged your bets at wide receiver.
Here's my receiver depth chart. I'm gonna guess is gonna be wide receiver 1's Juwan. Wide receiver 2 is going to be probably Demarcus Robinson. And then slot guy, in my opinion, is going to be Cowing or Watkins, whoever wins in that competition. I would prefer Watkins because he's fast as hell. And I love those little speedy guys in the slot. So that's going to be my guess. I think Ricky's going to end up getting phased out, and we're going to end up drafting a receiver next year to take over or sign one to take over for Ricky. Because, dude, you can't miss 1 3/4 of an off season, and you're not beating out Cowing. Even Purdy said it. Cowing's an animal. Like, he has been getting after it. So how can you beat a guy like that out?
And Jordan Watkins got reps with the starters at the first OTA, and he beat Renardo Green. I think it was zone. I'm not going to put it all on Green, but he split Green and Pinnock for a post touchdown.
I feel bad for Renardo, man. They were putting him on Juwan too, and he was getting cooked.
Yeah, yeah. All right, it's Prize Picks time. We got Eastern Conference Finals in 2 hours. Karl Anthony Towns, Josh Hart, TJ McConnell, Obi Toppin, Tyrese Halliburton, Tyrese.
Wait, the cat one's free.
What's up?
Did you see the cat one? It's free. It's like half a point.
Oh, for real? Let's take that. So we're playing the more or less game over here, as we all know. More or less. Let's see.
Yeah.
Tyrese Halliburton. Points.
No wonders here.
Assists. Never. Assists. 10. 10. We think less?
I think more.
More. It's going to be that kind of game, huh?
He has to close them out.
All
right.
Smart pick. We got Karl Anthony.
Do you think TJ McConnell's going to attempt a 3? Come on. Attempt one? Yeah. Come on. That's free cash.
Yeah. What else are you going to do? Mitchell Robinson. Josh Hart.
Like any of these.
5.5 points for Josh Hart.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my gosh. Prize Picks is blessing us with 2 free ones.
It's blessed.
Yeah.
Thank you, Prize Picks. Okay, one more. Obi Toppin.
I like Obi.
4.5 points?
Come on. That's got to be another freebie.
That is stealing.
Give me a more.
Oh, I like that. We went more. Okay, that's definitely going to work out. Flexing it. We could have done more, though.
Let's just do a
hold on.
Play.
Should we? I like doing League of Legends with you.
Oh, like COD and that stuff? Yeah. Do they even have any matches? Nope. Call of Duty doesn't have any matches.
F1?
Oh.
What about Max Verstappen, 15 and a half F1 points? He's so good.
How do you get points in F1? I don't
I
know how
don't
the
know,
point
man, but I
system
feel
works.
like he's got it.
Is that top 3?
Oh, I have no idea.
Screw it. Yeah, let's go more. It's Max.
Absolutely, dude.
Is he
Max
a lock for
Verstappen,
top 3?
lock. Should we power play it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
Hell yeah.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Never missed on
Should
a
I
prize
check some of
pick
my older?
spin.
Hold on. Let me see like if I've won recently. I don't even check. Nope. Hold
Let me see the
on.
texts. Oh.
Wait. Have I won recently? No.
Yeah, these are
No.
all live still.
Live. Okay, hold on. Wait. No. No.
You're killing our
Oh,
credibility
these were
here.
wins though, because I flexed them.
Yeah.
That was a win,
Look
I
at that.
guess.
$8.
I'm so good at this. Look at it. Everyone followed my advice on this one. Ooh. Yikes. Well, some of the time I win every time. Download the app yourself. Use promo code Cohn, play 5, win 50 instantly on your first play. All right. I got a thing. I'm gonna run this by you. The Brock Purdy thing. I have a feeling I just can't imagine that Kyle Shanahan, after going through the Jimmy Garoppolo experience and working so hard to remain a quarterback bachelor for so long, that he really wanted to commit himself so aggressively to Brock Purdy. To
Oh,
me,
he said it. He said
yeah, he
that's his
said it.
quarterback he wants to win with.
He said that's the only quarterback he wants as long as he's here, or that's the only quarterback he's going to get as long as he's here.
So when he
Is it
quits next
possible?
year,
To me, like, I think the Yorks love Brock Purdy. He's marketable.
yeah,
He's wholesome. Everyone loves him. He's not like Jimmy, who was kind of
I
controversial.
think Kyle loves Brock Purdy as well. He
I
lets him yell at him.
don't.
He does what he's told. He runs his system well. The only thing I think Kyle hates is when he starts scrambling. But I think Kyle likes him. I really do. I think
I
Kyle
think he
loves
liked
that
him
he
at
can shout at him.
$900,000, but I don't think he wants to be tied to him. And so I wonder if Mac Jones and Curtis Rourke were like Kyle's guys. It's like, all right, Yorks, if you guys want to invest in Brock, I can't tell you how to run your team. It's your money. Absolutely, man. But like, I am going to bring in some backup quarterbacks that I really like. And
Or
if anything were to happen to Brock, God forbid, and Matt goes in the game and plays just as well or better, well, we'll deal with that when it happens. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But
how about this hot take? Purdy isn't Kyle's guy. Kyle hates him. Purdy's Salah's guy. Salah is the one banging the table. You need to sign this kid. He beat the brakes off me last year, and I had Hall of Famer Aaron Rodgers, and he outdueled him single-handedly. And so
I didn't know. I had no answers.
So Salah's banging the table. No, I think Kyle and the Yorks. I could agree with that actually, because I think his deal is structured like that, where the Yorks like, we really like him, and Kyle's like, I don't know. Kyle's like, are you sure? And then they're like, we like him, and he goes, are you sure? And then they go, okay, let's do a contract where we like him, but we're not sure if he likes us back. And Kyle's like, much better. And because that way, because again,
he didn't handpick Purdy, just like he didn't handpick Jimmy. He was sort of like gifted those guys, and he worked with them. And with Jimmy, he was frustrated, and they had to pay him a lot of money, and he kept getting hurt, and he wasn't that serious. But they won a lot with Jimmy. With Brock, really had to be appreciative of Brock because the guy he handpicked and Trey Lance didn't work. But it seemed like the quarterbacks Kyle has handpicked, like Sam Darnold, Mac Jones, and now Curtis Rourke, although that might have been a Mick Lombardi. I'm not even going to say Curtis Rourke. I'm going to say Mac Jones. Mac Jones feels like the new Sam Darnold. And I wonder, like, if the season's going bad and Kyle feels that he's going to be held responsible for it because the team is so invested in Brock, would it be in his interest to, like, show the team what it looks like with Mac? I don't know. I'm getting ahead of myself.
I don't think Kyle will bench Purdy this year. Because I think, here's the thing, right? If we're going with the theory that Kyle doesn't like him, but isn't necessarily sold that he's a franchise guy, I think Kyle would show it. Look, for 17 games, you're going to watch this. I'm going to hold your eyes open, and you are going to watch him, like I've told you, not be able to perform like I've told you. And then this next offseason, since you gave the draft to Saleh, this next offseason, you're giving that first rounder to me, and you're getting me the quarterback that I want. And that's how I think it's actually going to be.
All I know is that when teams invest heavily in a quarterback, typically there are some corresponding moves. And those corresponding moves are on the offensive line for obvious reasons. The Niners did not make those corresponding moves. Instead, they signed Mac Jones and they signed Luke Farrell. And when asked, like, what is Luke Farrell going to add to this offense? Kyle's like, well, it's so nice to be able to have a tight end who can block a 9 technique on pass plays so that Christian and George can get out in the pattern. Yeah, that sounds great. But that's exactly how Brock got hurt the first time against Philly with the tight end trying to block a 9 technique on a play action pass. So I just wonder, like, the offensive line is worse than last year. They're going to be doing more of these tight end blocking defensive ends on play action passes. I hope. Do you think Brock Purdy's got? How many games do you think Brock Purdy plays this year?
14. I think he's going to hurt his throwing arm again, and then he's going to sit. I think he's going to. I think they're going to go 13. Like I said, 13-4. But I think Purdy's
13 and a half, more or less, for Brock.
I would take the less.
Coming off, I don't know, man. Yeah, I'm with you.
I think he's
just got a bunch of guaranteed money.
I think he's going to get hurt at the end of the season, and they're going to pray he makes it for playoffs. And then that's where Kyle's going to do what he did with Trey Lance. He's going to draw his line in the sand and say, you either fire me or you give me a quarterback in the first round of this year's draft. I think this next year's draft, I think especially the way they structured Brock Purdy's deal, is Kyle saying, if Brock Purdy is not good this year, I want my quarterback. And you are giving me my quarterback, and we can keep Purdy for another year so that my quarterback can learn, but I want my quarterback. And this deal was the York saying, okay, sounds good. But if Purdy's good, you're keeping him. And Kyle's saying, okay, deal.
Well, all I know is that the starting offensive line on Thursday was Spencer Burford, Ben Barch, Jake Brendel, Dominic Pooney, and Colton Kivitz. It was
sounds like an all-pro lineup to me.
Yeah. All right. Let's play this or that.
Okay.
Is that a true shirt?
Yep.
Did you get that in LA?
Yep.
Nice. They have them up here. There's one in San Francisco. There used to be one in Oakland, but it got robbed so many times that they went out of business. RIP. I went to him one time and I tried to get him to sponsor my channel. I was like, hey man, I want like some
shirts,
some clothes. And they were like, yeah, but we keep getting broken into, so I don't know how long we're going to be here. Like,
oh my
God.
Sorry to bring it up. Sore subject.
Yep.
So this or that. All right. What player do you want to do it with? We could do it with Brandon Ayuk. We could do it with Christian McCaffrey. We could do it with Brock Purdy.
Brock Purdy.
All right. So then my first one would be Brock Purdy or CJ Stroud, since we've already brought him up.
See, to me, like, Stroud gets credit for not having a losing season yet, and Brock just had one. But I'm going to say Brock because he gives you like a mobility that Stroud doesn't give you, and their passing stats were identical last night. Am I not supposed to explain am I supposed to just blurt out a name?
You give an explanation. You can give a short explanation.
I'm going to go with Purdy. They both had down seasons last year, but Stroud definitely had a better defense. And I think that was a big part of why they the Texans have a really good defense. That team name sucks, by the way. The Houston Texans. Wow. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. Purdy.
Okay. I would go Purdy too. Purdy or Caleb Williams?
Another good question. Caleb Williams has a better arm, although even when he had time to throw, he seemed erratic with his accuracy. He's mobile, but he got sacked way more than Brock. He seems like he runs into trouble a lot, and he's like clearly a diva. A diva. So I guess I'll go Brock again.
Wow. All right. That's actually a spicy one. I would take Caleb off the talent, but yeah, he would be hard to work with. Purdy or Drake May?
Drake May hasn't done anything. I mean, Drake May is bigger than Purdy and faster than Purdy and has a stronger arm than Purdy. And maybe he ends up, I mean, his ceiling is way higher than Purdy, but he has a whole lot to prove. What's he want? 4 games, maybe less? I'll go Purdy.
All right. I'd go
now.
Drake.
Okay.
And Purdy or Geno? Yeah, these are tough. I'm putting you on the hot seat for these ones. This is going to be a banger.
Man, Gino to me is a lot like Jared Goff. Tall pocket passers who can see the field and make every throw. And if everything's good, then they'll look good.
Mhm.
But there's something like they're going to melt down right when you need them not to. I don't. Maybe that's just anecdotal experience with Geno Smith, but there's something about him that doesn't inspire much confidence. When he's struggling in the game, he starts looking up to the sky like God hates him, and he's like,
Yeah.
"I'm still gonna." And he's old, man. I feel like I'm gonna go with
Okay.
Brock here. Yeah,
All right, we'll do a couple more. So, okay, Purdy or Jordan Love?
Jordan
This
Love.
one, really, this one I
Yeah,
take Purdy. I don't even hesitate.
I would take Jordan Love. Jordan Love. I know he's made some bad decisions in playoff games, and that's true. But I still think like
He's Brett
he is.
Favre.
Brett Favre was a great player, but he's like Josh Jacobs is a better player than him, I think. But he's the second best player on their offense. They don't have a really good wide receiver. They have some good offensive linemen. They have some good. I mean, he's arguably the second best player on the whole team. And last year he was playing with a high ankle sprain the whole year. He didn't really scramble very much. He's so good on play action. I mean, that's kind of the platonic ideal of a play action quarterback. A guy like that with just enough mobility who can make every single throw and extend plays a little bit. Like he's more mobile than Geno and Jared Goff. Not quite as mobile as Brock, but his arm is so much better than
Yeah.
Brock's. He's bigger than Brock. Like, yeah. Yeah.
All
Sorry.
right. Final one. This one's caught steam this week. Brock Purdy or Jalen Hurts?
Hmm.
There have been a lot of school
Hmm.
thought on this one.
There, that's interesting. Because I wouldn't want to put Brock in the Jalen Hurts offense. I don't think they do different things.
Yeah.
And I think you can't ignore how much Jalen Hurts benefits from that offensive line. Like if Brock got to play behind that offensive line, whatever
Yeah.
the system, his numbers would be better.
I also think Jalen has better receivers too.
So like as a passer, Brock is just more sophisticated in terms of
Mhm.
the anticipation, the way he reads defenses, the way he can throw the ball over the middle, and layer football. Like all of that is much more sophisticated. Like as a passer, Jalen Hurts is throwing RPOs and go routes and stop routes. There's not a lot going on there. But that's not all he is as a quarterback. And the rushing is so big, and people can minimize it and say this is a tush push and this and that. Man, it's like 15 touchdowns and 50 first downs that Brock's not giving you. So, and also like forget stylistically when they were in the biggest stage in the biggest game of their life twice, Jalen Hurts balled out and was like arguably the best player on the field where Brock didn't. I mean, he wasn't Jimmy,
He was
but he
solid.
wasn't, he was solid where Hurts was great
So
in
you're
two
going
Super Bowls.
Hurts?
I'm going to go Hurts. I got to go Hurts.
All right. I'd go Purdy there, but I think that was a
That's a
good
good one.
segment.
It's a good segment. Yeah, I like that one a lot.
Yeah.
I think that's all we got. Do we want to talk about Brandon Ayuk at all? I mean,
We can, I guess. Yeah.
he didn't show up to OTAs. He still seems like he has an axe to grind. Julio Jones on that podcast talking about only getting 4 targets in the Super Bowl, and like the next day, Brandon Ayuk, when he wasn't at OTAs, posted a thing on his Instagram story about Julio Jones. Like, you don't have to be a freaking genius to figure out what that's about, although he does have plausible deniability. Uh,
I don't
if he doesn't
understand
want to be here, should they give him his wish? No one wants him.
I don't understand why he'd be angry at the Niners. What did they do? They
Is it
gave him
possible
they gave
that they
him more
said things
money
to
than they
him?
could have,
Yeah,
and
I agree.
then they gave him a ton of targets even when he kept dropping the football.
Yep.
Even though it was a liability at times, they still tried force feeding him
Yep.
because they paid him, and then he got hurt on a freak accident. After he ran to them and said, "Please don't make me go," like the scene from Big Daddy, Adam Sandler. Uh, and then he said,
The little
"Please."
kid.
Yeah, that was Brandon Ayuk to Kyle, and then Kyle
And Kyle was
goes,
Scuba Steve.
"Yeah." Kyle's like, "All right, then fine. You're not going.
Yeah.
Come
Scuba
back."
Steve. Yeah.
If Brandon is mad at Kyle, if I was Kyle, I'd be so confused. Like, what did I do? But so there's two schools of thought with the Julio thing, right? One, he was bracketed the whole time. It looked like single coverage, and it wasn't. Two, why is Kyle getting blamed for targets? Isn't that Matt Ryan's fault? Isn't Matt Ryan the one giving him the football? If you want to force feed Julio, force feed Julio. Tell your quarterback throw you the football.
Well, to be fair, Julio didn't mention Kyle or Matt Ryan. Maybe in his mind that was Matt Ryan's fault.
In
I
my
think
head,
yeah.
it's Matt Ryan's fault. If I
I
have
mean, in
Julio
my head, it's both
Jones,
of their fault, and it's also Dan Quinn's fault. Like that's
but Tom Brady has said this before. He said if you have a player like a Julio Jones, he even named Debo in that. He said, my goal is to get you the ball. I don't care what it is. If it's a bubble
Mhm.
screen, if it's a little drag, just to get you the ball, to keep you engaged. Tom Brady said that was always his school of thought with superstar players. Like when he had Randy Moss and stuff like
Right.
that, he always made sure to get them the
Early
ball.
and often. You're in the
Yes.
game, and I know the Belichick's thing was to take you out, but you can't just concede that to Belichick. Like, well, Belichick wants to take away my best weapon, so I'm going to hit him with my second
Yeah.
and third weapons. Like, nah, it's the Super Bowl. It's Julio Jones. It's your only time you're going to have him. You got to figure out a way.
But I think Kyle is one of those coordinators that outside of the Super Bowl, he uses that to his advantage. Okay, you want to take away my best weapon? Perfect. I'm going to just make them clear out two people every time. And then what do they say? Everyone's always wide open in a Kyle Shanahan offense. Because Kyle, most of the time, does a really good job of using that to his advantage. Okay, you need to keep an eye on Christian McCaffrey? Sure, I'll send him way out there. And then have my entire offense being right here. But at the end of the day, I think if Brandon Ayuk is angry at Kyle, like, get over it, dude. You're buying 18 Lamborghinis. Apparently he's on week 1 watch. Did you hear about that? Like, apparently he's said he's going to be ready for week 1.
Well, we'll see. I mean, maybe if they desperately need him, but maybe someone who's like been at training camp will be in better shape and more ready to actually play.
Yeah,
But
it
it won't be
says
Demarcus Robinson because he's going to be suspended too. So I don't know.
Yeah, it says Brandon Ayuk is on good pace for week 1.
Who said that?
It's just some rumors thing. But
John Lynch went on the radio yesterday and was asked about him, and he's like, "Yeah, he's tracking well." That's all he said. So maybe
yeah, there's
he's
a
tracking
couple.
well.
But from what I've heard from you and everyone else is a resounding wide receiver 1 is not necessarily going to be given to him because Jawan is going absolutely crazy at camp.
Yeah, and it's like the way I look at Ayuk too, coming off this injury, he's not going to be the guy who runs the 4-5 flat anymore. He's going to, he will have lost a step. And
Oh, don't
Ayuk
say that again.
Ayuk with a lost step, is he better than? I mean, he wasn't even better than Jawan last year before the knee injury. Go look it up. I mean, Jawan isn't explosive, but he's very good. And I don't know how explosive Ayuk's going to be anymore.
So I think here's my thing with Ayuk, and I think he could still look like one of the best receivers in the NFL if they do this, and that is turn him into Amon-Ra. Make him basically play in the slot and just have his actual strength. Like he is quick and he's fast and he has a great release, but his real strength is his route running is like top 2 in the NFL. Put him in the slot and let him just work people constantly. Because yes, if he's lost a step, the best place for you to be is in the slot. So I like that.
Joseph Lindbergh says Saleh is the next coach. This is his team.
I don't buy that at all.
We'll see about that. Shady Luke says Caleb gets so much hate. LOL. I watched every game I could if Philly wasn't playing. He's better than people think.
Caleb. Okay. This is a 2-pronged thing. I've watched Caleb since he was in high school. Caleb Williams gets so much deserved hate. Caleb Williams props himself up to be the best quarterback, period. He is talking about it all the time. I keep the 8 Super Bowls on my phone because that's my goal. You cannot say those things and then not expect to be held to that standard. So when you are playing and you are the number 1 pick who has tried finagling your way out of it because you're so good that you don't need to go, when you don't go to the draft and participate in anything, when you are constantly propping yourself up as I'm God, and then you perform like garbage, especially in the situation, like with the players they had on Chicago, you cannot be like, oh, poor Caleb. Like Caleb brought all of it upon himself. I do think Caleb's going to go off. I've said it multiple times, 5K, 50 touchdowns this year with Ben Johnson.
You did say that.
But the hate he gets is 100% deserved.
Joseph for real says if Trent isn't there in the first 3 mandatory days and be present, then
on.
then on out without vacation hours, then he's a malcontent that probably shouldn't be here. Yeah, is he a malcontent? I don't know what's going on with him, man. It'd be nice to actually
he has
get
too
a
much.
pulse.
He has too much. The issue is he has so much leverage. If they're like, all right, we're gonna bench you, Trent goes, okay, bench me.
Like, yeah, go sign DJ Humphries. Shady Luke says, I'm not going to argue my boy Jalen against Brock, but here's all I'm going to say. I've never witnessed Brock throw the beautiful Archie deep passes Jalen throws.
Comeback against the Packers, arched it beautifully over the linebackers to a beautiful Juwan Jennings catch. Boom. Roasted.
No, not yes. that was like a 20-yard pass.
Perfect.
Yeah, but that was like a 20-yard pass.
Okay, if he's talking about deep, then sure, yes. Brock doesn't have...
Jalen throws a beautiful deep ball.
50% of the time.
But he doesn't throw over the middle.
The other 50% of the time, Jalen throws it to the defense when he throws a deep ball. Or throws it 15 yards short.
Or he throws it out of bounds. That's the thing. He throws those go routes up the sideline.
But I'd have to take... Yeah, I mean, I don't know. That's a close one, actually. Brock versus Jalen is a very, very close one. Because I think they're both very good system quarterbacks in their system.
Yeah. Yeah, and they're like opposites. Yeah.
Jalen in Kyle's system, he would look awful.
It wouldn't work. He'd get benched.
Same with Brock over there. He would look awful. So,
although any quarterback behind that O-line stands a pretty good chance.
For sure. That O-line's crazy. And they do deserve credit. And I could not deal with Jalen Hurts as a personality. I would not want him on my team. The Instagram quotes every time he speaks, like, "Hey, Jalen, how was your day? Your day's only as good as you want it to be." And it's like, all right,
I love that about him. I love that about him, man.
A simple question here.
I kind of like that about him, I gotta say.
Oh, it's like T.O., but
he's like, he kind of like bites his lip, like, "Oh yeah, that was money. Oh yeah,
dude." He
like that about him.
You know, he rehearses those too. He's like, "I need to find a way to fit in this Ashton Hall quote."
Shady Luke says, "What, bro? You're hating? I'm a fan."
Hating on Caleb? Yeah, dude, he deserves. Like, I love Caleb. I think he is one of the most talented quarterbacks in the league, which is why I hate on him. Because when he has the wide open pocket and he can't hit a slant, I know he is 1,000 times better than that. If you gave him like a Patrick Mahomes or a Jalen Hurts work ethic, my God, that kid would be unstoppable. He would be the best quarterback.
Or Jaden Daniels work ethic.
He would be unstoppable.
Or Brock Purdy work ethic.
Or Brock Purdy arm strength. My goodness.
All right. Well, we're going to see who Brock Purdy chews out next at week 2 of OTAs. It could be anyone. It could be George Kittle. It could be you, Tyler. Tyler, thank you very much. Yeah. Thanks for watching, folks. Go.